Oh, boy.
This is a movie episode.
This is a movie episode.
I want to talk about all kinds of stuff.
Well, the good news is we've already started recording. So, hi.
It's all my stupid voice.
Hey, guess what? We're back. Same clothes. New episode, same clothes. So... What?
Keep it going.
What?
We're
What you
gonna-
got?
we're gonna
What you
keep
got?
doing
We're
it.
gonna
We're
keep
just
doing this shit. You're just gonna keep fucking with them.
Yep. Fuck them. See how loyal they really are.
I know, right? You know what I should have did for the
What you should have done, dude?
4 fucking months that we took a hiatus? I should have just kept like releasing reruns,
Oh
just
my
to really fuck with them.
Wouldn't that
I've
be
heard
funny?
this before.
God, could you imagine?
Anyway,
Where is the store? There it is.
so
can
as
edit the
has been
storyline.
stated at the beginning of this recording, this is going to be strictly about a couple of movies that we watched
Today.
Yes, today. As you know, we are both fans of cinematic adventures and typically of the horror variety, but we do watch other things. And so we watched a movie that I was not expecting to watch today, because I actually came over here with the idea that we had discussed of watching the horror movie that we ended up watching. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I wasn't expecting to watch the other movie that we watched. Now, nothing against said movie.
I liked it.
It was interesting. It wasn't bad. I want to expressly say
It's a great movie.
it
You
wasn't
should
a
watch
bad movie. Both of these movies, I personally think you should watch if you're fans of horror movies or comedies that are.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
had
that's definitely. I mean, I would say
were on
satire more than anything, but
very ends of the spectrum. That's the whole thing I kept saying last night when we watched it. I was like, "This is completely satire."
Yeah,
right? Because I
so-
was like starting to believe shit.
so it's
Like grandma's
you had
holes.
one. You had one thing that was true, as they stated at the end of the movie, that this was all true.
Motherfucker.
But right. So
That was it.
actually, before we get to the movies, due to the timing of this, I don't
Ooh,
know.
do a
So
little
I'm
housekeeping.
gonna ask you a question.
Oh boy.
Do you think
Oh no. Oh.
that I should? Bless is a strong word, but I'm going to use it. Do you think I should bless them and release both episodes like this week, or should I space them out as per usual?
Space them out.
Okay, so that's the reason why I asked, because this is going to come out a week or two after this is all going
Hopefully
on.
a week.
But I'm just going to point out, to go a little bit behind the curtain, it's Cinco de Mayo today, okay?
Oh, Cinco de
Cinco de
fuck it,
Drinko.
the whole fucking day.
The
God
whole
damn
day.
it. We wasted
Not
the whole
a
day.
single drink has been had.
Not a drop has been drunk.
To be fair, I spent the first half of my day having a massive hole put in the ceiling of my kitchen because there's a leak in the piece of shit house I live in, that the slumlords are now going to have to fix and probably put new cabinets up in the kitchen. It was either replace the entire tub and shower or replace the ceiling and cabinets, and I guess they went with that option. So either way, that's how I started my day.
Okay.
Now,
I didn't realize it was that
for
depth.
any fans, it looks nuts over there. I'll show you the pictures when we're done with this. What happened this particular weekend, if you're a fan of music and particularly rap music, there's a
Oh,
massive
fuck yes.
massive
Let me-
rap beef going on between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. And J. Cole was in that for a second, but then he backed out, and that's probably smart because shit. So Drake has been pissing a lot of people off, and I'm just going to say,
Billboard ranked them.
my TikTok feed, which apparently ripped TikTok because, Congress and shit, but it hasn't happened yet, but shit. Anyway, so it would appear that he went after a couple of people. I haven't been following this that religiously. I like Kendrick Lamar. I could give a fuck about Drake, so I don't follow
Right.
this type of stuff very often. But I don't have a choice today, because literally ever since I discovered one particular piece of this, so I'm going to give a little bit of backstory. So apparently in one of these diss songs, Drake went after a producer. I believe. Well, is he a rapper too? Either way. Person by the name of Metro Boomin, okay? And I guess he's told him in one of these diss songs, go make some drums with your bitch ass, or however he worded it. So his response to that was to take an AI-generated I really want to play it. I might just risk it. I'm gonna try to like find a 15-second bit that I can maybe get away with. But either way, he found, or he took an AI generated song about Drake, and apparently Drake having a BBL done, and the song is quite literally called BBL Drizzy. And then he made a beat out of that in response to him saying what he said in his song, and apparently posted it to X, Twitter, whatever the fuck it's called now, that whoever makes the best rap over that beat can have it for free. That's hilarious. But the song, like literally my entire TikTok feed after I ran across that particular song, because I'm not gonna front, I played it a few times because it was fucking hilarious, and it's just been stuck in my head. I keep singing it while I've been here. But my entire feed from the moment that dropped, every time I swiped, was something referencing that or playing that song over and over again. So it just got drilled into my head. This is and then I listened to like more of it, and listening to the actual songs as they've been going back and forth, and Kendrick's response and all this other shit. They are taking the glove, like normally, other than like back in the 90s with like Ice Cube and No Vaseline, and like Tupac and Biggie and Nas and all that shit that was going on back in the 90s. Most of the rap beefs these days have been pretty, I mean, people keep going after Eminem and then getting bodied, but
I mean, absolutely smoked.
Eminem makes people change careers, genres, everything,
lifestyles.
So apparently people have finally learned that lesson. I mean, he made a whole grown man cry recently, but so they went like hard after one another. So I guess one of these particular songs, Drake said that Kendrick Lamar puts hands on his wife, and then his response to that was calling him a pedophile. The cover, so he released like 2 songs, one right after the other. The cover of the last one that he released as of this moment had a picture. No, it had a picture of Drake's house with a bunch of registered sex offender tags on it. These two are going at each other's throats, but yeah. So I'm gonna try to look this up real quick, and swear to God, you type BBL and it immediately comes up.
God damn it!
It's probably gonna have ads, but let's just there go the ads. So apologize, friends. Apologize.
Grammarly has again
Which
been
one is it again? That one. Okay.
Which one is it again?
It's been a minute since I've done this, so. We're going to get flagged for sure, because there's one part I just want to get to. Hold up. Just.
Oh my God, I see the picture. I didn't hear this one.
Oh my God, it goes so hard, and I know we're going to get flagged for that, but I don't give a fuck. That shit is best BBL in his.
That's so dope. I mean, Kendrick bodied him.
Oh my God, it was so. It's been stuck in my head, and I just wanted to just point out how amazing that is. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. To be perfectly honest, I don't give a fuck. But that's amazing. And I'm not even going to. So I went and found the what is it? The AI generated version. And he keeps saying, "I'm going in, no Diddy," after he talks about the
fuck.
So this is the.
Is that the OG?
The AI generated one. I want to find the part where these yams deserve a trophy. Got the best BBL in history. This cake will make you show up. I know you've seen this glow up as BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. I'm going in, no Diddy.
Hold on. Let's see if I can turn the volume.
Oh my god.
This might fuck with the sound. But this is the part I liked.
Good.
Hold on. Let's see if it hit it right. Oh wait, I missed it. Go back. Oh, you bitch tits. Hold on.
We're gonna get flagged so many times. I mean, we don't have any sponsors, so it doesn't really matter.
Don't get him like a daddy. Fuck though. Ozempic did. Fuck.
Yeah,
when he talks about the Ozempic, that shit's funny.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then, I mean, listen, talking about him hiding kids, meaning Drake. Then there was that whole thing where that people were saying that he was trying to
BBL Drizzy.
Who was he going? He was what the fuck's her name? Why am I drawing a blank on the actress's name? Girl that plays 11.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, they were saying like he was trying to groom her or some shit. It was weird.
Oh God, so Mary. Anywho,
I just want to say shout out to the drama.
Also, Billboard ranked them, and Kendrick takes it.
Yeah. So
Push-ups. What a stupid name.
Shout out Drizzy. Oh, good Lord.
Your fucking name is Aubrey Graham, dog.
Bro, that's the thing that's funny. So everybody, because he said some wild shit. Basically, I know there was something to do with slavery in his in Drake's thing.
That part I didn't
And then
remember.
there was another part regarding George Zimmerman.
Uh-oh.
Bruh.
Not Zimmerman.
Everybody. Almost everybody that I've seen address this whole thing online have all been saying Aubrey. Like, homie, you were on Degrassi. Calm the fuck down.
Jimmy.
Like, that was her whole thing. So, like, when Drake blew up, like, her whole thing, because, you know, we were friends when that happened. Her whole thing, she was going in on that motherfucker. Like, because, you know, the big song when he first came out was that Started from the Bottom. And she was like, you were on Degrassi, bitch. What bottom?
First of all, he lives in the fucking suburbs in Canada.
Maybe he meant power bottom. I don't know.
The diddler got him.
No Diddy.
I don't want no smoke, Diddy. Don't come from my booty hole, Diddy.
First of all, that man had the FBI raid all of his houses, his airplane, his kids got locked up. Like, ain't nobody worried about Diddy. Fuck you.
The diddler. That's still the funniest part of the whole thing. Anyway, the movies we watched today.
Movies. So we watched a movie that was on Netflix that was written and directed or just directed? I don't know. Written and directed by Jerry Seinfeld. So the whole reason we got on this subject was because I had turned on a show called Reno 911.
Oh yeah.
And so she's like, "Oh, did you see Unfrosted? It's got this dude and that dude from it and blah blah blah." I was like, I mean, yeah, typically when honestly, I've been a fan of Reno 911 since the show came out, and if they are since the show ended, of course. If a movie comes on where one person from that show is on it, typically others are as well. The only one I can think of off the top of my head where that's not the case is Black Dynamite. Cedric Yarbrough was in that. He played Chocolate Giddy Up, but I don't recall seeing anybody else from Reno 911 in that movie. Anyway, so she's like, well, she's mentioning all the people that have been that were in the movie, and then finally she just turns it on. So we start watching the movie. Now, we made it, I think, 30 seconds into the movie actually starting.
Earthquake was his character's name was Cookie Rojas.
Yes. So I went into this movie just going, okay, I want to, you know, clearly it's got like a lot of fucking people in it. So like I'm going in it just looking for who's playing what, right? But the movie starts out and you can tell clearly that it's set in the 60s. Okay. The whole premise is it's based off of the creation, a satire of the creation of the Pop-Tart. Okay. And it basically paints the world as though Post and Kellogg's, the two cereal companies, were running the shit out of one particular town. But the way they shot it, it was almost like they were running the world, for lack of a better term. They even had a fake fucking awards show. The Spoon and Bowl or whatever the fuck it was called. Anyway, so this movie starts, again, clearly that it's made in the 60s. And I had to have her pause the movie at one point because I had an observation right off the fucking bat. So, what the fuck was that noise? Anyway, movie starts off with a small young Asian child walking into the diner and reading some comic that's on the back of a fucking box of Pop-Tarts, and Jerry Seinfeld starts talking to him about the creation of the Pop-Tart, right? So I'm like, but hang on, pause the movie. So she paused the movie. I was like, so this is because she watched it like literally last night, and then we watched it today. Yeah. And I'm like, so this is I'm just guessing, you know, for all I know, this is like some Fallout-esque shit where it's set in 2207, but it's the 60s.
Fallout.
So I'm like, so this is clearly in the 60s, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to point out a massive hole here. So there's the small Asian child walks into a diner in the 60s and no one says anything. Like, they were cool with it. You know that wouldn't happen, right? So I'd also like to point out that to further prove my point, through the whole movie, it was not keeping count. I want to make that point, but I was not keeping count. But there were less than 15 black people in this entire movie.
I can tell you how many there were.
And they were all like, one was a reporter. Okay. One was a trash man.
A janitor.
One was a janitor. So I mean, one was Toucan Sam. You know, they're but it just further proved my point, right? Like, it's the 60s. There's no fucking way. And let's be real. We all know what country we live in. There's no, unless you're watching this from another country, which I fucking doubt, but there's no way a small Asian child would walk into a diner by himself.
Whatever. He got back into it. Don't worry.
Without getting assaulted. So,
I mean, the cast is huge.
It is. And, yeah, I did watch the rest of the movie.
You watched the whole thing.
I didn't dislike it. It was just interesting. So,
I want to know.
I'm going to point out Amy Schumer showed up at one point, and I took a shot at her. I took a couple, actually. I don't know why I was being so mean to her. I really don't. I know she's not very popular these days. I don't really specifically know why. But either way, I was in that type of mood, so I took a couple shots at her. I believe when she came on screen, I said, "Oh, what's up, fat face?" And then, and then she was like, "She had a baby." That's what she said. And I was like, "You know what she doesn't have though? A career." So
that's what he said. That's what he said. But Dan Levy was in it. Daryl Hammond.
Yeah, there was a lot of people
Fred
in it.
Armisen, John Hamm.
I'd also like to point
John
out,
Slattery,
yes, they did a very Mad Men-esque bit.
Ronnie Chang.
I'd like to point out there was 3 people.
Bill Burr.
For sure.
Peter Dinklage.
From,
Dean Norris. Tony Hale.
So you want to read the synopsis?
Oh, that one? Yeah, I can. Bobby Moynihan, James Marsden, Thomas Lennon.
A lot of SNL people.
Jack McBrayer, Melissa McCarthy.
3 people from Reno 911 were in it.
Beck Bennett. Earthquake.
Yeah.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Andy Daly, Max Greenfield, Amy Schumer. Patrick Warburton, of course. Mikey Day, Kyle Mooney.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant, Jim Gaffigan, Christian Slater. Which I thought was odd. And then Jerry Seinfeld starred in it alongside Melissa McCarthy and Jim Gaffigan. They were kind of the 3 main, and Amy Schumer. Kind of the 4 main people in it. In 1963, Michigan business rivals Kellogg's and Post compete to create a cake that could change breakfast forever.
Correct. So,
which was fucking hilarious.
There were 2 child stars. I guess
they were so good.
Child actors. That's the word I'm looking for.
And they were introduced in this movie, so they're brand new.
They were really good in where they were in it. You know,
they were really good in it.
There's all this, you know, basically setup of how these 2 things go back and forth, and how Serial was like the cinematography they put.
It's really good
on Serial. Okay, I'm not even bullshitting you. They need to win a fucking award for that alone, because there's a bit in the movie. So like, I don't know, 30-ish minutes into the movie, there's a bit where they decide to settle their differences over a bowl of cereal. They go to this break room that has this fucking rotating, like, Lazy Susan of cereal dispensers. And, you know, all of the hits are there. Fucking cornflakes, anything Kellogg's related, right? They did all these crazy fucking close-ups of the spoon going into the bowl of cereal, the milk distribution. Like, the shit was wild. Okay, jump ahead to near the end of the fucking movie when they finally create the Pop-Tart. There's a whole ass montage of a CGI Pop-Tart blasting out of a toaster into space. Shit was wild. Like,
it was pretty dope.
The money, the budget that went into just those shots, I would love to know what that was, because that was insane. But the movie is fully, like, if you walk into this thinking it's like a actual detailed history of events, no. There's a lot of odd sexual tension between Jim Gaffigan's character and Amy Schumer's character, because, like, Jim Gaffigan's playing Edsel Kellogg the third or some shit, and she's playing
Marjorie Post, who are real people.
Who's real people, by the way.
Well, you see real pictures of them,
but they're playing these characters. There's this weird, like, I actually asked her because, you know, again, I was like, did you watch this whole fucking movie? She goes, yeah. I was like, so they end up fucking, right? Because they were like, there was this really weird, like, almost dominatrix vibe between the two of them, because she was just and he, like, every time she would, like, say some mean shit or, like, throw something at him, he'd be, like, super into it. So there's just this really weird sexual tension between those two.
Oh yeah, they were.
And I appreciate, like, I get that there's the humor, right? There's the point, but yeah, she was wild. Like, for some reason they rope in Tom Carvel, the guy who invented the Schwinn bicycles. Tom Lennon, who's one of the guys in Reno 911, he plays a German again. So there's another movie called Balls of Fury that they did, meaning the actual director of it was one of the guys from Reno 911. So they did this movie Balls of Fury where he plays a German dude in that too. But either way, and, you know, Germans, 60s, you get where we're going. So at one point there was a joke about going to Argentina. Like, they were, like, right on the nose with some of that shit.
Weird facts in here.
So he's there. He's the inventor of the sea monkey, Chef Boyardee. Like, they rope all these people in. They're the brightest minds to create the fucking Pop-Tart. Jack LaLanne's there.
Jack LaLanne was good. That was a good one.
It wasn't James Marsden plays him.
That was James Marsden.
Like, there was so fucking strange. Schwinn ends up blowing up because the fucking oxygen from the little suit they put him in that was like a space suit to go eat the fucking Pop-Tart mixes with the toaster and he fucking explodes. So they have a funeral for this man, and I'm not even bullshit. So Cedric Yarbrough comes up dressed as Toucan Sam, singing like Ave Maria almost. Mm-hmm. They lower the casket into the ground. Mm-hmm. They come by, dump a fuckload of cereal in there, pour milk in there. The fucking casket floats. They're cutting bananas, putting it was the fucking wildest funeral I've ever seen.
I would like you to know.
Please hit me with it.
This is a fun fact. Mm-hmm. This is a little bit of trivia for you. The scene where the mascot stormed Kellogg's building pulled direct quotes and scenes of the January 6th Capitol insurrection.
There's that, right?
And I am right. They did reference the QAnon guy.
100%. So she tells me before, like, we're getting to this scene where because the mascots are upset, they're creating the Pop-Tart that doesn't require a mascot. So she tells me, she's like, there's a scene where I die laughing because I get what they're referencing, but she doesn't tell me. They immediately cut to this scene, and it's Hugh Grant plays Tony the Tiger, and he has altered Tony the Tiger's costume to be a direct look of, what the fuck did they call him? He had a name in the press when all that went on.
QAnon shaman.
Yeah, him. The fucking horns, the exact same look, but Tony the Tiger. Okay. I mean, some of the shit that's going on is 100% like directly pulled from January 6th. And after that scene cuts and they go back to the boardroom where they're trying to get the shit FDA approved, which, by the way, they called it the Trat Pop first.
Trat Pop.
It was toaster ready, anytime treat, blah, blah. Anyway, so they had this whole anagram for it. The only reason it became the Pop-Tart was because Walter Cronkite ran it backwards in a silly putty. The movie's fucking wild, okay?
I would also like to point out that in this bit of trivia that I'm reading is that the guy they wanted to play El Sucre originally was Daniel Day-Lewis.
But oh my god!
As a parody of his role in There Will Be Blood.
If they had gotten
they
him,
never approached him.
No, because he had retired. He retired years ago from acting, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway,
and the whole reason this movie started is because it is one of Jerry Seinfeld's stand-up bits about Pop-Tarts.
That checks out.
And apparently he talked about it on Smartless, which is another podcast.
I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the wildest movies. It was a Netflix original. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's good.
It wasn't a bad movie. Yeah, watch, but go into it very. I don't want to say like low expectations because that's not it. Like
it was good. Yeah,
just go into it very like unassuming. Don't expect anything out of it. Just go along for the ride because it's one hell of a fucking ride. Did you, before we get into the horror movie, did you watch Fallout yet? Okay. That was a hell of a show, but that would be a whole other thing.
That'll be a whole different episode.
So
we still have to talk about X-Men too.
Also that. So moving on to the next movie that we watched right after this, by the way. So that movie ends, and then we go to watch this other movie. So I came over here specifically to watch a horror movie called Late Night with the Devil.
Yep.
I had wanted to go see it in the theater. It was in the theater for like 3-4 weeks.
And it was gone.
And then it was gone. And it was only multiple showings like the first week because I went to go look like the second week it was out, and it was only showing at like 7 o'clock at night. So I was like, fuck that. I'll see it whenever it comes to streaming. $7 to rent on Vudu, by the way.
$7.
If you would like to
I'm sure it's $7
watch
on
this.
Apple and all that.
Oh yeah, wherever the fuck you rent movies, it's probably not about the same price. But
Redbox is probably.
I heard a lot of positive reviews of the movie, right? But the one thing that they said was it's a very slow burn. And boy, is it ever.
It's the slowest of burns.
However.
I say the last 30 minutes is when it gets good.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's
an hour and a half movie.
There's breadcrumbs leading to like there's events that like keep you interested.
I'm almost wondering if we missed stuff.
I'm sure we did.
I'm not watching it again.
Why not? So I just want to point out one thing before we get into the actual point of the movie. So and I honestly haven't even watched this show probably in literal years at this point. But anybody who's ever watched Family Guy, there's a bit in Family Guy that I swear to God, this movie 100% mimics. And they're not doing it on purpose. It's just pointing out so there's a bit in Family Guy where they go to the movies to watch a movie, clearly, right? And they're basically making a joke about how you'll go to a movie and you think the movie's starting, but it's just an ad for one of the production companies involved. I'm not bullshitting you. I think there's 8.
There had to have been.
There might even be more than that. But there are like 8 little vignettes for the production companies that were involved with this. And I mean, I've been to movies where it's just like, typically it's 2 or 3 before you get to the actual movie starting, right?
This was
and we hit the 4th one. I was like, all right, so it's got to be soon, right? Nope. Okay,
it's 5th one, after this.
Fine. Nope.
It's got to be after this.
It just kept fucking going.
He said, is the movie ever going to fucking start? I said, I don't know.
It's an hour and a half movie, and the first 5 minutes are just
ads.
Fucking creepy films and productions and Shudder and dipstick movies. Like, it was all this other goofy shit involved.
Everybody had their hand in it, apparently. It was at least 2 minutes of fucking ads.
Swear to God. So,
or production companies. Which, whatever.
Do you have the synopsis queued up on this one? Go right ahead.
I had 2 pages open.
I figured as much.
My laptop's actually on this time. October 31st, 1977, which I find funny. Johnny Carson rival Jack Delroy hosts a syndicated talk show, Night Owls, that has long been trusted companion to insomniacs around the country. A year after the tragic death of Jack's wife, ratings have plummeted. Desperate to turn. Why can't I read today? I don't think I can read ever, to be honest. Desperate to turn his fortunes around, Jack plans a Halloween special like no other, unaware he is about to unleash evil into the living rooms of America. This takes place in the 70s, obviously. Yes. Late 70s.
Late 70s. Johnny Carson's like the king of late night TV, right? So
there is trivia on this one too. I'm sure it's interesting.
The movie is a very, very slow burn.
The slowest.
It's one of those where you're watching and you're waiting, like, going in what this is, but it takes a minute to get to that part. So he's, bringing on all these guests for his show again to try to get the ratings up. It's sweeps week and all that other bullshit, right? And it's funny because they're like setting a lot of plot stuff up in that very slow burn where they're like showing there's this weird tension between the host and his sidekick, what I guess you would call it, basically his version of Ed McMahon, and like all this stuff with the producer, and that they're kind of setting shit up for wow factor that a lot of people aren't comfortable with or whatever. So the first person that comes on is this medium. And, you can tell that it's not going well. That it's a setup. He's doing his thing, but there's plants in the crowd to sell that he's actually a medium. Well, after he has his whole bit, he starts coming back, and then really, for lack of a better term, gets possessed in the process, where this spirit's trying to talk. It turns out it's, that's kind of a spoiler, but either way. So he's trying to get this thing out. His eyes roll in the back of his head. That's like the first creepy thing that happens. Then he brings on another guest who is basically a hypnotist, magician, but he's one of those...
Now he's a skeptic.
He's one of those people that goes out to disprove people and debunk everybody what they're doing. So he starts going in on the guy that was the medium. The medium's fucking rattled because he had some weird shit happen that he wasn't expecting. Then he ends up basically, I guess, puking black shit all over everything.
Oh, God. This movie made $666,666 on Sunday, March 24th, when it came out.
I call bullshit.
I'm not kidding.
I know that's what they reported. I call bullshit. There's no way.
It said box office figures can be manipulated by around 5% by the distributor to compensate for receipts not tracked by RentTrack.
So,
but that is weird.
They hit close and just said fuck it.
That's crazy.
But anyway.
Also, what was it? Where did it go? Oh, Stephen King praised this movie. He loved it.
So here's the thing. I liked it. It has an odd ending.
It's odd.
I wouldn't even say odd. It's just, if you go into this movie, and I guess that's probably why I don't necessarily have a problem with it. If you go into this movie wanting like the bow to be tied up real nice at the end, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It does not do that at all. It leaves you very confused. But I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I kind of like the horror movies where there's no real explanation for why. There's questions I wouldn't have mind having answered because they kind of make a point to reference one specific part, which is something about the tall trees, right? So they make this point to reference this thing, but they never really explain that. That's about my only complaint, I guess. But either way, so things continue to go on. They finally bring on, if you've seen the previews at all, there's like this little girl who's possessed. So they bring on this chick who they basically, which again, I mentioned spoiler alert at the beginning of this, essentially. But they basically reference that the host and the chick who wrote this book about trying to communicate with whatever is possessing this girl. It would appear they're fucking. And
oh, she tells everybody.
Yeah. So he brought her on to kind of help her sell the book and really to get the ratings and all this other shit. But he, of course, isn't really being completely transparent with that. Either way. So bring the girl on. Sure as shit, demon shows up. And Demon is the girls. First off, I want to point out the girl who they cast to play this fucking girl, creepy as shit. She did a great job. Movie too. She did a great job. She was creepy as fuck. Creepy.
I didn't like her.
You know, and I guess truthfully thinking about it, I've watched a couple of horror movies recently. Mm-hmm. There was one that I watched that was way fucking worse. So that might be why this one didn't bother me that much.
What'd you watch?
It was a remake of a movie called The Last Shift, I think it was called. And it was literally remade by the guy who made the first one, but it was called Malum. It's not bad, but it's pretty shitty. It's not even really all that good. By the way, side note, I watched Saw X recently too. That was surprisingly good.
I saw X.
Yeah. But anyway,
I was very confused.
By X?
A little bit. Interesting.
So, I mean, you know where it takes place in the timeline, right? Maybe that was why you were confused.
I didn't see Pearl.
No, I'm talking about Saw X.
Oh, you saw X.
Not X.
Oh, I heard you say I saw X.
No. I saw X. Anyway, so I was like, why were you confused? Anyway, so
never mind. I was not.
Now I understand why you were confused.
I didn't see that.
No, X was really good. I liked that one. We're getting sidetracked, but anyway,
told you what happened.
Of course. So, Demon shows up. Things go shitty. Thing that was funny was it definitely it went a direction I wasn't expecting when the big reveal finally happened. But either way, the guy who's trying to debunk basically does massive hypnosis on the crowd, which they reference at the beginning of his character showing up. Mm-hmm. So you kind of saw a lot of this shit coming, right? Not that that's a bad thing, but and there was a lot of very interesting visuals on that bit. But then you go to the part.
Yeah, there was.
So the whole point. So he shows this video. You're thinking this shit's going on, right? Of course. Then they watch the videotape back to show that he was hypnotizing everybody. So the part that everybody thought they saw didn't happen. He's trying to say, "Oh, girl did the same thing." They cut back to the video there and show that what they saw the first time actually happened. The dude still being a skeptic, and then
all hell breaks loose.
All hell breaks loose to the point.
I mean, to put it lightly.
So it's funny that, the ending didn't stick because she was not having a good time. There's a part where everything goes to shit and it looks like the person's coming out of the TV that you're watching it on. And she's screaming that she didn't like it. And we ended up pausing the movie because I had to go to the bathroom, and she's like, "I'm really glad we didn't watch the scene." I was like, "I kind of wish we had."
No, I was good. I was very good. When the stomach thing happened, I was like, "No."
Yeah, like a really big worm came out of a dude's eyeball. It was magical. A lot of body horror. But yeah, let's just say people fucked around and they found out, and then that's where everything took a left, and that's I think why she didn't actually end up enjoying the end of it, because it took a hard left. I think it would have been better if it ended on the static screen. To be perfectly honest with you, because either way, you still didn't have anything explained.
No,
nothing got explained. Nothing at all.
$7. I screamed no at the TV a couple times.
She did.
No.
Yeah. And then I was laughing while I went to go use the restroom, and she kept telling me to shut up. I thought it was funny.
It was all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, we both had equally underwhelmed responses to the two movies that we watched today.
I didn't have an underwhelmed response to Unfrosted. I loved it.
Yeah, I did.
2 thumbs way up. Oh boy. I thought it was funny.
It's funny.
I'll tell you
it's not the worst. I didn't at the end of it, I wasn't I wasted an hour and a half of my life.
Right.
I've only had that happen one time.
No, we've had it happen more. You want me to bring it up?
I'm talking about when watching the movie to completion. Not watching a movie for 45 minutes and then checking the fuck out.
Tear Up Blood Fart Lake was horrible.
Right, but the whole reason
that
we
racist ass Nazi movie,
right,
which we were so confused about.
It wasn't that was a.
It was a waste.
It wasn't that was a waste. It was I couldn't do it anymore. Like movies don't make me uncomfortable. Okay. But this one made me very fucking uncomfortable.
That one did.
And it made her uncomfortable too. Like, so the big thing, I can't even remember the fucking name of it, but I know that like the whole point of it was
just shut it down.
The movie was quite literally one continuous shot. There were no cuts, no nothing. It was one continuous shot.
It definitely didn't seem like it was. Cut.
So like that was one of those days that we just watched a bunch of horror movies like at my house. We were just going through them. So like we watched
Velocipaster.
That one, once you realize that it's made that bad on purpose, it makes it a little bit more stomachable, but still not a lot. It's
still funny. It was terrible, though.
It was fucking god awful.
Terror Blood Fart Lake.
That was worse. But it was too real. Like,
it was very like these people really feel honestly, like this.
And honestly,
it was
teachers. To the point where I jumped ahead because I was like, I usually don't. I'll watch a movie to the completion without like ruining it. Excuse me, for myself. But this was one of those ones where it's like you hate the person so much that I was like, I got to read ahead to see if they die, because if they don't, I can't do this. I can't subject myself to this unless they get some kind of justice at the end. And so I went online and read, the actual plot synopsis from start to finish, and they don't. They get away with all the terrible, god-awful shit they did, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. But that was the same day that we watched Bodies, and
we like that one.
That one's good.
I watched that one again, too.
If you have a chance to watch that one, you really should watch it, because I tell you, I tend to pride myself on having at least a decent success rate of knowing what the outcome of a movie is going to be, like figuring out the mystery, for lack of a better term. This one got both of us. Neither of us had any clue, and the conclusion was so hilarious that it just made it that much better. But yeah, so almost a similar thing with like Saw 10, for lack of a better term, since X was confusing. Saw 10, that bitch didn't get it at the end either. The person you want to die lives, but it was still a really good movie.
I think it was this one.
Which one?
Soft and Quiet.
That might be it. That actually sounds right. Yeah. Listen, props to you if you can get through that movie. I just couldn't do it. The only other movie I remember, I remember us checking out on, but we did eventually go back and finish it.
We didn't go into a church, did we, in that movie?
Yeah, you did.
Horror movie that hides its monsters in plain sight. Soft and Quiet is meant to be disquiet you from the very beginning, forcing you to ride shotgun with these just folks who mix matchmaking suggestions for single members with toxic comments about immigrants and minorities. These women are local shop owners, educators, and mothers, pillars of the community.
They were in the attic or some shit in the church.
On the surface, one gentle southern matron happens to mention she's been a lifelong member of the Triple Ks, but she has been more active in Stormfront. Recently, Leslie and her fellow 20-something new recruit Marjorie represent the new guard of the suburbanites. God, Jesus. The latter thinks she might, in fact, be in the wrong place. I don't hate anybody, she swears. Then with just the tiniest bit of prodding and talk of it being a safe place, Marjorie lets loose on how she passed up for a promotion just because she's white. Doesn't mean she has it easy. It's a baby step. This movie is crazy.
Listen, you want the short version? They do some god-awful shit to some Asian people and they live.
Yeah, we never... that movie was horrible.
Yeah,
so that had to be the one we watched.
No, that was it.
Soft and Quiet.
100%. Yeah.
Terrible.
That was it.
Terrible.
It was rough. It was really rough.
I got to the point where we didn't know, like literally like I just read, it never spells it out for you. It's nowhere.
Right.
And you never know. And then you like are watching and you're like, something's off.
Yep.
Which is, I guess, the point that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And you're like, these Karens got
they did their job. I will give them credit. If that was what they were after, they did their job fucking well.
And then I thought, God, this is awfully believable.
Because it
is.
Yeah.
And then I was like, are these people really like this?
Uh-huh. Well, probably not the actors, but you never know.
No, I mean, I know there's people like that, but
yeah.
I was like very convinced that this was like a real movie.
Yeah. It's just a snuff film.
It is for some people.
But no bullshit. But yeah, no, the only other movie I can remember us checking out on, but we did go back and finish, was Human Centipede.
I'll never.
We 100% went into that one. I know the reason I turned it on. The reason I turned the movie on was because at the time, Beavis and Butthead had a revival, and they referenced the movie, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So I looked it up, started watching it. I got about 5 minutes into it, and then she showed up to my house, and so we watched it together. And there was one particular scene where we both were just like, nope, we noped the fuck out of that movie. And then it was like 2 or 3 months later, we both just went like, we got to finish it. And so we sucked it up and finished it. And then that was enough for me. This psychotic woman watched the second one. I read the synopsis and went, I'm good. There's not a lot of movies that make me go, no. That was one of them. Another one that everyone talks about. Like you see these things pop up on the internet, like the most disturbing fucking movies, whatever. Another one that I've never watched because reading the synopsis was enough is a film. And listen, if any of you are in this particular lane of shit, you know probably already which one I'm going to reference. It's a movie called A Serbian Film. No. Read the synopsis.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Did you make me read that once?
I feel like I did.
No, I'm good.
But there's a bit at the end. Like everything else, it's like, okay. Let me see if I can power through. I think I could power through that. There's a bit at the end. And I was just like, nope, I can't do it. I'm out. I'm good. So and here she goes, searching it up anyway.
Oh, God. Should I read it?
Not on this, you shouldn't. Not if we want this to make it. It's already bad enough we're going to get flagged for the music at the beginning.
I can't read it. Well, I can't.
Oh, God, you're really going to do this. I apologize ahead of time, folks. If you read it, you're reading the synopsis, not the full plot, right? If you read the full plot, it's going to fuck you up. And
no, I just read the... Also, this movie has been banned in like 46 countries.
And for good reason, by the way. I'm going to mention, for good reason.
Well, an aging porn star is all I needed to know.
Yeah.
Agrees to participate in an art film in order to make a clean break from the business, only to discover that he has been drafted into making a blank and blank themed snuff film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that there's questions in here and it goes, what happens to the baby in the Serbian film?
Yeah. Yep.
What happens at the end? How graphic? Is it illegal to watch it?
It should be.
It made $1,500 in the box office.
Yeah. The fact that it made it to a box office is beyond me. I know they do weird shit over in Europe, but this is... You have made me
look at something. I think we watched something about this. We didn't watch the movie.
No. I can never.
I don't know how to get this out of my search history now.
No, you want to know the one movie? The one movie that after I watched it from start to finish, at the insistence of a friend of mine, by the way, the one movie that at the end of it I was just like, I literally feel dumber now. Like, I wasted 90 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. I can never erase this from my memory. I don't think I could if I didn't have the memory I have. It was fucking Pootie Tang.
I like that movie. I think it's funny. I'd rather watch Undercover Brother, though.
Yeah, Undercover Brother's funny. Pootie Tang is painful.
It is bad, but it's funny.
It's fucking painful.
I like it.
And I've tried watching it again.
Oh, I've watched it a couple times.
I can't.
Maybe it's because I am dumb.
I can't. But I've discovered that there apparently, which I didn't think was possible.
Apparently.
There's apparently a point in my life that my brain just goes, yeah, this is too stupid for us to do anymore.
No, we're doing it. We watched Terror on Blood Fart Lake after you watched Pootie Tang.
I can't. There's parts of it that are funny, but I don't think I could actually sit down and watch the entire Dude, Where's My Car movie anymore. I went to the theater to see that. I enjoyed that.
What does mine say?
I don't think I could do it. There's parts of it that are funny, sure.
So weird.
But I've actually, like, I think, I don't know, it was like 5-ish years ago I tried watching it. And I was like,
I own it.
I can't do it. I owned it at one point, too.
I own that movie.
I owned it at one point, too.
I own a lot of movies, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was this episode.
What else? What other
me
shit
talking for most of this about these movies. Yeah.
Don't watch the Serbian film.
Don't do that. Don't. Just don't.
Don't watch the second Centipede either. Human Centipede.
Yeah. Don't. You don't even.
You want to know what that one's about?
You don't need to watch the first one. You don't need to watch the first one. You don't. You want listen.
There was
you want
another
You want the
movie?
short. There was a third one too. You want to know the short version? Okay, we'll give you the short version.
Sure, tell 'em.
Human centipede. Okay, some weird fucking German dude decides he's going to make a centipede out of human beings.
3 of them.
3 of them. He severs tendons, sews mouths to assholes, because apparently in his mind that's the perfect sequence of systems. At some point, an Asian dude straight up bricks in a girl's mouth. And
that's a light way to put it.
And
that's a nice way to put it.
he the German dude yells at her to actually ingest this particular thing.
What does he say?
Feed her.
Thank you. I want to gag now. Why
Swallow it, bitch.
That's
the one thing we took away from the movie. He
does that randomly now.
For like 3 or 4 months. I wasn't the only one, bitch. For 3 or 4 months, we would just randomly feed her. So
what's that one?
I did it around my kids once, and they repeated it. And now I can't do it at home anymore.
Motherfuckers. What was that movie you showed me like a 5-minute clip of, and then I almost threw up in your house? Asian. It's like that Asian movie.
Yeah.
It's dubbed. Or I have to read it. One of those 2 things has to happen.
Fuck, that was a good movie too.
No, it wasn't.
It really was.
No, it wasn't.
It really was.
No, it wasn't. That old lady walked into that ramen shop or whatever the fuck it was.
You didn't even see the worst fucking part.
No, and I will never watch that movie.
I can't remember. I need to find it now. I can't remember what the fuck it was called.
I'm glad. Don't find it.
There's this horror movie that came out. I think it was during COVID. But so it's basically like a zombie movie, but an infected movie, but
because that's the time we needed that
right.
shit.
So it came out during COVID, and that's the whole like breakdown, right? So everything goes to shit. There's a point in the movie.
No, it's not funny. Don't laugh. Don't you fucking laugh.
There's a point in the movie where so the whole reason I got roped into it was because it come up on one of like most disturbing movies things, which I
always intrigues you.
So I was like, all right, let me check this out. There's a scene, and it's a very like it starts like this shit goes 0 to 100 like that.
That was a good snap.
But there's a scene in this movie where earlier in the film, one of the basically what ends up happening is it's rabies. So rabies goes off and it affects all these people. They are just driven by their baser instincts. So violence and sex, right? So they're driven by their baser instincts. The thing that's fucked up about it is that like at the end they bring up that they're aware of what they're doing, but they can't stop it. So like there's parts where you see people crying as they're doing these god awful things to people.
It's not good.
But there's a point in the movie where like it's probably like the first, I don't know, 30-ish, maybe not even that, minutes of the movie where basically someone stabs a young woman in the eye with an umbrella and she lives, but it's just this fucking hole. So later on in the movie, the dude who stabbed her with said umbrella decides to stick his dick in the hole.
Why?
So
Why are we doing this?
you said fuck him up, so here we are. He does that, and that's how she ends up turning because of that. Yeah.
He made me watch a piece of that movie.
First of all, again, the movie's actually for as fucking god awful as it is.
No,
it's a good movie.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Something happened in the... No, you're fucking not. We're not telling people. We already just fucked him up with a Serbian film. I don't know how you find these things. I go on the internet and I watch, like, secrets of video games. Secrets of...
The Sadness. That's what it was called. The Sadness.
I'm sad thinking about it.
Yep, it was the sadness. That's
How am
what
I
it's
supposed
called.
to go to sleep? I'm gonna watch cartoons. Play some Fortnite.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
No, it wasn't.
It was. You should watch it.
No.
It's fine. But like I said, 0 to 100.
It's gonna be one of those things.
5 minutes in the movie. No, you listen. We should go back and watch it. I really think
you better come here early in the morning because I'm gonna need to watch a whole lot of Scooby Doo afterwards.
That's fine. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Mary.
I'll watch that movie again.
I can't. What am I doing? I don't want to.
I think you should comment on this that she should watch the movie.
I don't think anybody's going to do that. The 7 fuck. How many? Oh, let's play the game. Oh, you want to talk about mothers.
You said 7 people are going to watch this, so I think if we get
how many?
If we get 3 people that say she should watch this movie.
100 likes on just the video, and I'll watch the fucking movie, but I'm taking everybody with me.
So you set an unrealistic goal that you know will never happen.
50 likes. 50 likes. That means these assholes, these lovely people that watch us, assholes.
I think you should cut that in half.
50.
I think you should cut that in half.
I just cut it from 100.
I think you should cut it again.
25.
I think that's
and then fair. I got to make them watch it.
I think that's fair. I think 25 is fair. And I'll tell you what, we will set up the camera. We'll put mics on. We won't show the movie because we can't get away with that. But I will. Yes, we can show clips. I will film her reactions through the whole movie, edit it down so you're not watching just the whole time. But I will edit that bitch down to the highlights of her reactions to this movie.
25 likes.
25.
Please, God.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. So if you're listening to this and not watch it, go on YouTube, find this video, and like it. You don't got to watch. I mean, you don't have to watch it again. Like, you don't have to watch it after listening to it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying go on there and like the video so she has to be fucking tortured, and then you guys can see the highlights of that. Anyway.
Why?
You know it's not going to happen. We're not going to get 25
likes.
It's not going to happen.
Buddy. Hold on a second.
I'm not talking about views. We're talking about likes. We get views. I'm not saying we don't get views. But we're not going to get 25 likes. I don't think a single YouTube video we have has 25 likes.
You're right. It has 2.
Told you.
Wait, let me go into all the
25 people. 25. And I will clip the fucking highlights of her.
2, 1, 1.
She might legitimately run out of the
one of them got copyrighted.
This one's going to get copyrighted too.
I mean, we've had a few videos that have over 2,000 likes. I mean, 2,000 views.
But not likes.
12 likes. 16. It gets close. 10.
Still not 25. All right. Well, it's been fun.
How many likes do you want me to do?
No, I think 25 is a good number.
I think it's going to spread like wildfire.
I think you're overestimating that mark. And I'm not taking anything away from you. Fine people that listen and watch our nonsense, but I don't think it's going to get 25.
We've had a drop.
Yeah, because we haven't posted shit in 4 months.
0 subscribers.
All right. Well, hopefully we get those likes. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Didn't say anything?
Bye.
Jesus Christ.
Bye. 25 likes.
25. 25.
Someone's going to make 24 fucking accounts.
Me. No. All right. I'm not going to do that. I won't even add my like to the video.
No, you can like your own video. We need help.
All right. Bye.
Bye.